Robert Mueller came to the Oval Office, along with other potential candidates, seeking to be named the director of the FBI. He had already been in that position for 12 years. I told him no. And this one. Bob Mueller was pursuing the FBI director job when he met with President Trump in 2017, administration officials say. At Fox News, Bret Baier and Jake Gibson, at Sean Hannity. This is true even though Mueller denied it. These statements by Trump were lies. All of them. Mueller did not want to return to the FBI. In any event, federal law placed a limit on his tenure and barred his further service in the job. Still, Trump understood the value of repetition even if, especially if, a statement was false in the first place. The president saw most human contact as transactional, the exchange of favors or the pursuit of grievances. Policy and principle meant little to him. So it was easiest for Trump to explain Mueller's acceptance of the job as special counsel, which happened the day after their Oval Office encounter, not as an act of public service, but as the pursuit of a vendetta. On the surface, the two men, Robert Swan Mueller III and Donald John Trump, had much in common. Mueller was born in 1944 and Trump in 1946, both to parents of considerable wealth. Mueller's father was an executive at DuPont, and young Bob grew up in Princeton, New Jersey, and on Philadelphia's main line. He went to prep school at St. Paul's in Concord, New Hampshire, where the high Episcopalian values of muscular Christianity still prevailed. He excelled in his academic work, captained the ice hockey, soccer, and lacrosse teams, and won admission to Princeton. Trump's father, Fred, started a real estate business that built apartments for middle-class New Yorkers. He came to own thousands of them, and he raised his family in a mansion in Queens with a chauffeur to take young Donald to school. As a boy, Donald had a rocky trajectory, and his impetuous nature prompted his father to send him off to military school starting in 8th grade. There, the young heir straightened out enough to graduate. He went first to Fordham University but transferred after 2 years to the University of Pennsylvania. Trump graduated in 1968 and went to work for his father. It was in the crucible of their generation, the Vietnam War, that their paths first diverged in a dramatic and revealing way. After graduating from Princeton in 1966, Mueller married his high school sweetheart and tried to enlist in the U.S. Marines. He had a knee injury at the time, and the Marines made him wait more than a year for it to heal before he was accepted to officer candidate school. It wasn't until 1968, then, that he achieved his goal of going to Vietnam, where he survived several harrowing experiences in combat. In his first major battle, he was shot through his thigh, but he returned to duty and more combat soon afterward. His commendations included a Bronze Star for combat valor, a Purple Heart, and 2 Navy Commendation Medals. Mueller maintained a lifelong reverence for the values of the U.S. Marine Corps. Many years later, a friend asked him how he wanted to be introduced before a speech. "Just make sure to say, 'I'm a Marine,'" Mueller said. Trump received his first 4 deferments from the Vietnam-era draft because he was a college student. In 1968, after he graduated from Penn and thus became ineligible for more educational deferments, he received a 5th, a medical deferment because of bone spurs. When Trump ran for president, he said he could not remember which foot had the spurs or the name of the doctor who provided the letter about his medical condition to his draft board. It later appeared that the doctor was a podiatrist who was a tenant of Fred Trump's and wrote the letter as a favor to the Trump family. Trump sometimes bantered about Vietnam with radio host Howard Stern. He referred to trying to avoid sexually transmitted diseases on the dating scene as "my personal Vietnam." "It's pretty dangerous out there," he said in 1993. "It's like Vietnam." The contrasting experiences with Vietnam serve as a useful metaphor for the course Mueller and Trump took through their adult lives. To compare them is to challenge the conventions of journalistic balance. At every turn, Mueller chose public